Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Congressman Mark Amodei joins us from CD2, here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
A power line is more than a power line. It's maintaining the bottom line for small businesses. It's keeping the assembly line moving for our workforce. For our brightest minds, it's meeting a deadline. It's on the front line with our heroes. And on the sidelines of the biggest games. It's a direct line to our loved ones. And it's a lifeline for the most vulnerable. There's a lot on the line.
The trucking industry is the most resilient link in the supply chain, moving 95% of our freight in the Silver State. And while essential, the road isn't always smooth. Supply chain disruptions, rising fuel costs, and unrealistic rules and laws that hamper our ability to serve our customers and country. Our prosperity and every sector of the economy, manufacturing, mining, medicine, and food from farm to table, is tied to trucks. There's nothing without trucking.
We are still waiting on official results from Nevada. They could still be getting ballots next week.
The state of Nevada allows ballots to be counted for almost a week after Election Day. Winners and losers can change for a week? It's embarrassing, and it makes you wonder about trusting the process. It's time to stop accepting ballots after Election Day and bring trust back to our elections. I'm Shirley Folkens-Roberts, and I'm running to make Election Day, the way it should be.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're always delighted to welcome back to the program Congressman Mark Amodei of CD2. Welcome back, sir.
Good morning, Sam.
You are looking very relaxed.
Actually, I'm not. I've been fighting my yard and rose bushes and stuff, but I'm on the comeback trail.
All right. But when you made the announcement that you weren't going to run again for CD2, how'd you feel about that?
You know what? I've been thinking about every 2 years you sit there in advance of filing in March and you say, what are we looking at? How do we feel about this? You know, that sort of thing. So, I mean, it was like, oh my God, it's sudden. It's like, we always, I mean, you never say you're not running because in this business, boom. But we always thought about it. And so it's like, you know, it'll be 15 years. It's a non-presidential primaries to where those folks will get some more attention than they would have. And then the other thing was, quite frankly, is I wanted to do it early enough. Some of my predecessors, politically generally, you know, waited till the last minute. It's a big shock and there's a big scramble. It's like I wanted to do it in enough time to where it's like people can, you know, do all the usual machinations that go on in that stuff so that you can have some well-reasoned stuff. So, I mean, I felt good about it. I mean, I'll be 68 this month.
You don't look a day over 67.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks. Thanks, big guy. But it was one of those things where, and the other thing, Sam, is throughout my career, you know, there's only 3 ways you leave this business. You die, you get fired, or you call your own shot. Well, with my background and stuff, being able to call your own shot is much better than dying or getting fired. And not that I was worried about any of that. I mean, we've worked hard to establish the record where you don't lose a county, you know, issues come and go. You're a rhino, you're a MAGA, and all the stuff in between. But we always worked hard at the job. So we felt like we had a good base. So it's like, well, you want to go again? And it's like, this just feels like the right time. At least it did.
All right, so can we blow off some rumors?
Yeah.
Because one of the first things that I thought of, and I texted you about this, was I was concerned that perhaps one of the health issues you'd had a couple of years ago popped up, and I must have been number 100 because your response was, seriously?
Well, and I got to say, it's like, I know I'm homely, but do I look terminal?
No, you look great, actually.
And so I'm like, I mean, somebody calling their own shot, I guess, is so. And I had people come up to me, oh my God, are you okay? And I'm like, I think I am.
Well, the reason I think was that, having become a cardinal, which was such a big deal and is a big deal, but also everybody knowing that you had had health issues a couple of years ago, I think that was a concern. But okay, so we've bypassed that. You're healthy, you're doing fine.
But here's the cardinal thing that you mentioned too. There was no other cardinal job that I coveted. I mean, at times it was like, boy, I'd like to be the interior guy or whatever. I'm the number 2 guy on that. Mike Simpson and I work great together. If I need something in interior, I get it. So I don't need to, that sort of thing. And actually, nobody in their right mind asks for Homeland these days, and especially not after some of the folks that have been in charge in Homeland. But it was one of those things where that's the job. And so I got to the point where, listen, you got to learn the job. Some people actually having experience in their jurisdiction is a positive thing for the process. And so it wasn't like, I want that subcommittee or that. So I was happy with where I was at. As it turns out, a ton of responsibility. Number 4, fiscal footprint out of all 12. It's like, thank you. You were blessed with getting that responsibility. Hopefully did a good job. Looking forward to doing it, one more lap around the track on that. So that was like, I'm okay. There wasn't something that I had left undone in terms of, I want that subcommittee.
Do you know how rare that is for a politician to leave office and say, I got it done? So many people have stayed on for so long, especially before term limits, saying, well, I just got one more thing to do.
Yeah. And listen, I'll have some disappointments. I mean, I'm employed until the 2nd of January. So I'll have some disappointments that everybody does. But I still think it's like, I tell people, I want to come back when I still have the ability to break some things instead of just put a blanket over him and make sure he's getting hydrated.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because anybody who watched the movie Lincoln, and if you've never watched it, I recommend it highly, knows that a lot of stuff can happen in the lame duck.
Yeah.
Like freeing the slaves, the Emancipation Proclamation. So what are you looking at that potentially you could get done? I mean, is it the lands bill? Is it something that we're not aware of?
Well, you've got all the usual stuff flying around because President Trump is in the last half of his last term. And so everybody's positioning for who's going to be the Democrat, who's going to be the Republican. Those aren't answered yet as we sit here. And presidential elections, they're not 12 months out of every year. But right now, there's already a little bit of that going on, and it'll only get higher. And so there'll be plenty of votes in terms of what are you going to do in terms of funding the government? How's that work with Reconciliation 2? Not so good today, but maybe by the end of next week it'll be great or whatever. Oh, and by the way, what about Reconciliation 3? Because defense, with what's going on in Iran, they're going to need some fiscal help. And then at the whole thing, you've got the whole thing about, are you conservative enough? I was looking at, you voted for the appropriations bills. It's like, well, I did while Donald Trump was in because he asked for the money to do what he wanted. Now we're holding him to some standard, and that standard might get higher, Sam, in the end of the 119th session, which is the next 6 months. But it's like, so I'm a bad guy. I'm a fiscal bad guy because I voted for the Trump stuff. And by the way, we need somebody who's more conservative. It's like, really? That's what he asked for. We didn't give him everything. So, a lot of the discussion these days is so messaging instead of issues. And so there'll be plenty of opportunity to your question of, you name it, it's going to come up.
Fascinating that, as you say, this is the end of the first half of Donald Trump's presidency. Normally, a president would lose power going into the last cycle because he would be a lame duck in this case because he can't run again, we think. according to the Constitution anyway.
Well, there are some things out there, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's got those caps, say Trump 2028, but
Yeah.
we'll keep that one for another day. But if you look at the recent elections around the country where Trump has endorsed, he has had nothing but victories.
Absolutely. And so we talk about, well, he decided last Friday he was going to play in Nevada too.
Were you shocked at that?
Yeah, I was. Because it's my opinion, and since you got me on this, I didn't talk to anybody in Nevada. I think this was like, turning point, folks, the messengers, whatever, where it's like, we want, so it's like, so you can say you own a congressman? Because that was always the dig on me, is like, well, we kind of deferred to Nevada and whatever. Now, we never, I mean, I can tell you how, it's like, well, I'm not perfect, although the folks who have been perfect, I don't think that there's a lot of them standing to talk about it, but it's like absolutely rock solid support on impeachment stuff, and actually wrote stuff about here's why, based on all that stuff, all the budgeting stuff, all that. We did vote against them because we thought the local PBS folks were doing a good job. And there was no editorial comment or content generated for PBS nationwide in Nevada. And that's one of those things that isn't over yet. And I didn't vote to overturn the election because I actually listened to the argument in front of Judge Russell. And, I am a recovering lawyer. It's like, this is all garbage. Of course he ruled against him. And I'm not saying the election was perfect. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. That was your chance to prove it. And you just fumbled the ball. And it tells you something when nobody from Nevada was protesting the election when it came time to confirm it in the House. We had a guy from Alabama who's not there anymore stand up and say, Nevada, I protest the Nevada results. And you're going,
Okay, so do you think this was Michael McDonald?
no. Frankly, I don't think Michael McDonald has the juice to make a call to the White House and say, and besides that, Michael McDonald spent a lot of time telling me that he was going to defer to whoever we thought up here. Now, obviously, Michael McDonald is very good friends with, what's his name, the consultant, McShane.
Yes.
McDonald and McShane are like that, so I don't think Michael was telling me, and listen, he could have said, hey, we're good friends and I'm with him and blah, blah, blah. He kind of danced around that, still kind of does, until he came out with a letter a little while ago saying, well, he's the leader of the party and we need to back him. It's like, you know what, Michael, it's America. You can say and think whatever you want, but we'll see how that plays.
Yeah, Woodrow Johnson, a former employee of Rory McShane, is running that campaign. So
Rory McShane's running the campaign. Woodrow Johnson has his own firm too who's running it. That's the guy who shows up, oh, I'm the Young Republicans. They have a meeting up here in Reno, and so some Young Republicans show up and decide to endorse Settlemyre, and so they decide they're not part of the Young Republicans. Very disappointing in terms of, so tell me about the issues. Tell me about why within 72 hours of I say I'm retired, you're out of CD4 and you're all in for CD2. Yeehaw, I'm for Winnemucca, even though I don't know how to spell it.
All right, so here's the question, because you and James Settlemyre have traveled the same route for a very long time. And what I mean by that is, it's not that you just represent CD2, you're there all the time. Your truck has more miles on it than almost anybody's, and James Settlemyre can't be far behind. Tell us why James Settlemyre should be the one in a race that has 27 candidates.
Yeah. Well,
holy moly.
Totally fair question. When I'm sitting there and people go, well, you've got to produce your successor. It's like, no, I don't. I mean, the voters do that. But when I'm looking at people, being the old-fashioned guy that I am, it's like, who can go out Interstate 80 and knows their issues and knows their businesses and knows their communities? Who can go out US 50 and do the same thing? And who can play in the Truckee Meadows, Reno, Sparks, Carson, Yarrington, Fallon, even though it's like, who can play in those areas and not have to go to school to learn about it? Who can hit the ground running? And it's like, there's more than one person, but of the folks that decided to get in, oh, by the way, director of the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, nobody cares about water in Nevada. Nobody cares about parks in Nevada. Nobody cares about the environment in Nevada. I mean, all those things, historic preservation, all those things where it's like, it's like this guy's got a toolkit that's pretty good as far as doing the job, if the job is about issues and results. And speaking with Sam, as the only voice in Congress that speaks exclusively for Northern Nevada, original Nevada, it's like, well, there's good candidates, but this guy's got an exceptional toolbox. That's why I'm like, if you want somebody who's qualified, instead of you want to go to he's a dirty, rotten SOB, and you're running an ad from some guy in Texas who the driver's license thing or something. It's like, what's that got to do with Nevada? And misrepresenting the vote on what that card thing was? It's like, I've been around this long enough to like, hey, if you've got good stuff to talk about, you talk about it. And if you don't, and you have no record to run on, and you failed to get out of 2 Republican primaries in Las Vegas in the Assembly and in a congressional district, what are you going to talk about? It's the old personnel session thing. I know who the other folks are that have applied for the job and they all suck, hire me. Really? That's what you got?
One of the things that's interesting is that I was talking to James Settlemeyer on the phone the other day, and I was asking him, what's happening with the ranch. He has this beautiful Settlemeyer ranch that has the most incredible view of Job's Peak that you can ever imagine.
Good duck hunting, too.
Yes. And he said to me, well, I get up in the morning and I work 3 hours at the ranch. Then I start on the campaign, and I do the campaign stuff all day. And then at the end of the day, to relax, I do another 2 hours on the ranch. You cannot outwork James Settlemeyer.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's embarrassing for the rest of us who think we work hard.
Well, and here's the other thing. They go, oh my God, the president decided a week into early voting that he's going to endorse. And everybody's going, oh, he's dead. And it's like, first of all, I don't think that accurately reflects Northern Nevada. Not that we don't love the work that the president's done on the issues, but when it's like, well, I'm endorsing another, it's like, I've picked a guy from Vegas in what looks like an AI he's going to be great on the border, and he's, tax on tips and the Second Amendment. It's like, so why is the local guy no good? I mean, he's there on all that stuff, except for a few inaccurate or false light hit ads from this guy. And so that's why I say, you know what? Somebody from Turning Point wants to be able to say they own a congressman. And listen, a lot of those groups never liked me and wanted to, but it's like they couldn't find somebody that they thought that could win. And it's not because I'm a great guy, Sam. It's because we are absolutely, positively the number one advocate for Nevada. And they go, well, what are the bills? It's like, well, there's bills, but those are the national ones. It's who calls up the Corps of Engineers, who calls if there's a problem at Stillwater, who calls Fish and Wildlife and says, hey, you need to get out here and fix this. There's a problem with whoever it is, even state during COVID, who calls and goes, we need to help these folks get this done. How can we help you help them? So that's what I think makes it different here.
Let's take a break. We'll come back more with Congressman Amodei after this time out.
Meet Nevada Health Link, Nevada's official health insurance marketplace. Your link to savings, selection, free assistance, and name brand health insurance, where 90% of enrollees lower the cost of their monthly premium. Everyone deserves access to quality health coverage, no matter your income or family size. Visit NevadaHealthLink.com. A few minutes could save you hundreds of dollars per month.
Nevada Health Link. Our plans are made for your plans.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
At the heart of the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, we power the future with global leaders in technology and manufacturing. From advanced manufacturing to tech innovation, our industries are creating thousands of quality careers, fueling a vibrant economy that benefits every Nevadan. Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
Hear ye, hear ye! All hail the $75,000 Cash is King giveaways at Tamarack Casino. Rule the kingdom with cash giveaways every Thursday and Saturday. And live royally with up to $10,000 in winnings every week. Eat, play, win! Your good times are at Tamarack Casino.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Congressman Mark Amodei of CD2. Let's talk about reconciliation. This is a way where you're able to get around the
Senate rules.
Senate. There you go. The two.
Being very blunt.
Yes. So, what are the big issues? Maybe the top three that you hope we can get reconciliation done to get these things through before the end of the year.
Well, first of all, we now have the experience of Reconciliation 1 behind us, and from a Homeland perspective, when we had the secretary and her principal deputy or whatever out buying 737s and executive jets under the Coast Guard stuff, shrink wrapping, ICE vehicles, stuff like that. That was all reconciliation money. And it's like, what the heck? And so there was a pushback from the administration, I think in honesty, partly because they weren't sure what the heck was going on down there. But anyhow, so as we go forward, it's like, we want to make sure that oversight, that pesky oversight Article 1 thing is pretty darn clear. And so the first question that has to be answered in that is, you want funding for ICE and Border Patrol for 3.5 years, which means no regular process for 3.5 years. Here we go. Because if the first year of that is an indication of how the next 3 are going to go, we maybe need to change a few dials to a different setting. And that's a big deal and you look at the House is easy. Side with the most votes wins. But you look at who's in the House right now, and it's like, and the margin, and it's like, what are you going to do to Don Bacon? What are you going to do to Massey? Where they're like, well, and you say, well, he thumped him. It's like they spent $30 million in an obscure Kentucky district to blow the guy up. Now, the part of it, though, was they had an excellent candidate. So it's not just that. It's like, well, I'm just telling you, and we can run a broken wagon, but we're going to spend $30 million painting it. So, all those things are mixed into that. How's it going to go for Reconciliation 2? Well, it isn't going real good in the Senate right now. The president wanted it on his desk by today. It isn't on anybody's desk today. And I don't know the dynamic in the Senate, but John Cornyn, even if you didn't think it's 24 years or whatever, I think his Trump voting record was like 96, 97.
Yeah. We have to take another quick break. We'll be right back.
2025 is bringing big changes for Nevada businesses. If you have more than 5 employees and have been operating for 3 years or more, you must now comply with new state retirement plan mandates. The Vegas Chamber 401k plan makes it easy, offering a proven, customizable, and cost-effective plan for employers and employees to save with tax advantages. Visit vegaschamber.com to explore options and see how the Vegas Chamber can help you start saving for your future.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org. At Nevada Urban Indians in Reno, your health is our priority. Our medical clinic welcomes everyone. We accept all insurances, ensuring quality care is within reach. Nevada Urban Indians, your partners in health.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we can continue our conversation with Congressman Mark Amodei. Did you want to finish up what you were saying there?
Well, reconciliation 2 will be interesting because right now there's a lot of scrambled eggs in the pan.
Okay. But it's coming. But I'm glad to hear that some of the things that have been going on are being looked at, and it's not just a sign off on everything.
Right.
This is going to be, I think, the most fascinating political season that I've ever seen.
Can't argue with that.
It's going to be crazy, and I think that it's going to show, does the president in a general election retain the power he is showing in the primaries?
Well, and here's the other thing where, there are times we've had strange election cycles before they come along or whatever, but I think in Nevada, the D's are phenomenally energized by what they're seeing in the R business at the moment. I mean, I think Joe Lombardo's got things pretty stabilized, should be fine or whatever. But here you are in CD2 where the geniuses, and I won't, are basically have totally scrambled the Republican Party in the ruby red district in the north, where it's like Chuck Muth did a thing like, relax, Northern Nevada, we're here to save you. I mean, Sam, I'm like, Jesus, that's Pulitzer Prize material there, isn't it?
Yes, I read that yesterday.
Yeah, great job. And so we'll see. I think, at the end of the day, when it's like, well, the poll says this and whatever, I think at the end of the day, it's like, we'll see how that district goes. Because I expect it to go for James Settlemyre, and I expect it not to be razor thin.
And that's where we have to leave it. We'll be right back.
Stack up the wins during Carson Valley Inn's Summer Toys and Big Cash giveaways. Cash drops every Thursday and Saturday with over 450 winners. Plus, win a new side-by-side or $12,000 in cash at each event. Free wheels, free play, and bigger thrills. Only at Carson Valley Inn.
Welcome to the Ahern Hotel, where bold ambition meets unforgettable experiences. Feel your game day vibes and celebrate with great food at All American Sports Kitchen, serving amazing flavors and fan favorites. Sip and savor at Aroma Barista Bar. Handcrafted coffee roasted to perfection. Step into the Ahern Live showroom, where concerts, comedy, and unforgettable performances light up the night. We also have the David Yule Art Gallery. It's the only one in the world, and his work is breathtaking. Browse the gift shop. It's a treasure trove of keepsakes, chic essentials, and one-of-a-kind finds. And the space. Almost 30,000 square feet of meetings and events areas ready for you. From weddings and birthdays to quinceañeras, trade shows, banquets, and beauty pageants. Bigger ideas? Let the Ahern team handle all the details so your event is flawless. Ahern Hotel, where moments become memories. Book your next gathering today.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
Check out our archives section on NevadaNewsmakers.com. Great interviews going back as far as 2002. Really worth watching. We'll see you on the next broadcast.